Aloha. This is international baritone Quinn Kelsey, and this is the CVH podcast.
That's what she's saying.
Yes. All right, let's get to it. Sunday, April 23rd. Welcome to the CVH podcast. Last weekend I got to go to the Opera News Awards. That was a big deal. I love the Opera News Awards. We don't have like industry night in our business. We don't have we don't give away too many like public awards. We give we have like competitions when you're real young, and like we're just trying to help out the young singers and get them money, and that's something I'm actually going to go and see today. But there it is. Can you hear the sirens? I officially hate Hell's Kitchen. This is not a great place to live. This is not great. This is my first and last time in Hell's Kitchen. Opera News Awards. We don't really have this sort of evening, and it's just the best. It is a celebration of us, and this is just going to keep getting worse. Go ahead. God damn. Let's all enjoy this. This is Hell's Kitchen in a nutshell. This is 3 a.m. sometimes. Okay. What was I saying? Industry night. We're here to celebrate three singers, Lisa Davidson and Aaron Morley and the great George Shirley. And they play these fantastic video montages, and they have another singer there to present the award, and there's some musical interludes, and it's just like this incredible night. They do it over the Plaza Hotel in the main ballroom, which is a historic room. It's stunning. I don't know. It just reminds me that what we do has some importance, and I know it's no more important than to us. I think I'm becoming more and more aware of that. Is that this continues because we love it. We love it. We have a public, and we have people who want to see it, and they come to the show. But what makes this a lot of what makes this special, I think, is that we make it special. And I like that. It is special to me. I am a big opera fan. I'm a fan of the different aspects of it. And we had some legends out that night. And, I put some pictures up on Instagram, and it was one of Lauren Flanagan and one of James Morris and Angela Geargiou. And I was sitting next to Debbie Voigt, actually sitting next to her at the table. And, Didis Graves was there, and then a bunch of people from my generation, and then there were a lot of young singers too. They're good about inviting some of the kids from Juilliard and Manhattan School. You can see that there's young singers in the back. There's some extra seats, and they're good about bringing in the next folks to just kind of like witness it. I sat in the back too, and honestly, it wasn't that long ago that I was still sitting in the back. And so, there's a path. There's a path in this business, and I think that everybody has to earn it in a way. Now, I need to give a little assignment to young singers, because I initially put up those pictures of me and my heroes, and I didn't post names because many of that generation are not on Instagram. And so there's a void there. And then somebody brought it to my attention and said, hey, young singers might not know who those people are. And I was sick. It made me sick that could be true. And I hate to admit that I have seen evidence of this before with the younger generation, where I say, hey, did you ever hear this recording of so-and-so and so-and-so? And they're like, who? You go, oh, no. You're a mezzo-soprano, and you don't know who Marilyn Horne is? This is a major, major problem. This is a hole in the gap of your education. I want everybody to go and look up one of the following people: James Morris, Debbie Voigt, Denise Graves, Lauren Flanagan, or Angela Geargiou. If you're a young singer and you're unaware of those 5 people, you're being failed. I rip off people's things in recordings constantly. Here's the secret, guys. If you want to do something, figure out who is doing it, and then do what they do. This is not rocket science, and I spent plenty of time listening to old recordings and going, no, that worked, I'm stealing that. That worked, I'm stealing that. That worked, I'm stealing that. I'm going to go see Peter Mattei open Don Giovanni next week. I'm going to steal everything he does. Everything. That's the name of this. You'll have time to develop as an artist. But until then, if it was good enough for Siepi, it's good enough for you. If it was good enough for Joan Sutherland, it's good enough for you. And this was a huge part of my education growing up. My teacher said, you need to listen to all of this, not just your voice type. Listen to everybody. Take the style in. Learn from this. If you love it, it's good. Then do that. If it was recorded in the 60s and the 70s, I mean, it's some of the greatest voices we have ever known. Ever known. I devoured recordings. I didn't just listen to 5 or 6. I listened to 15 or 20. Make no mistake, this is how this career happens. You have to take all of this in. Take it in. Nobody can do this on their own. You're not going to be able to sit in a practice room and then suddenly be a great singer. It's not going to work. There's a million different influences that you need to bring in. I really can't stress that enough. Listen to the old singers. Don't go to YouTube, fine, if that exists, but you got to get your hands on the recordings. And I use Amazon Music and Spotify, and I know there's 15 other ones. Just they exist. Go find them. Please find them. This is a huge part of my training that I think was incredibly valuable. If you're not listening to the people who did it, you're missing out. You really are missing out because. Okay, there were some recordings that were duds. There were some live ones that didn't quite make it. But if it's a studio recording from the 60s or 70s, it was some of the best voices that have ever existed. Go and find these things and devour them. Steal from them. Opened BOHE on what day? Friday? We opened BOHE on Friday. It was a nearly sold-out show. Now, I have access to tickets. Being in the show, I'm allowed a couple of tickets. It's in my contract that I'm allowed a couple of tickets. And generally, I can get more than that if the house isn't that sold and I ask for an extra one here or there. It's generally not a problem. I mean, as it should be for a principal at the Met. I think if there's seats available, we should get them, in my humble opinion. And I made my request the previous Monday, and it was not even an option to buy opening night, which means we were sold like mad. And I eventually did get my 2 tickets but I sort of had to I had to appeal higher to get them. The house was nearly full, and boy, was there some serious magic. And I have to think that they were there for Yannick, and effectively his first, from what I understood, his first stage BOHE. He had done BOHE 20 years ago in concert in Montreal, and this was from what I understood, this was the first time he had done it with a stage show. And Yannick said this the other night. He said, when he thought about opera as a child, he thought La Bohème and the Zeffirelli production, and so it was a dream for him to do this. And frankly, for a lot of us, I'm not that I'm 1 minute younger than Yannick, and it was one of the first things I ever saw too. And that production was on PBS and. In a lot of different forms. There were a lot of different singers that went through it, but I remember seeing Carreras do it. I remember seeing Pavarotti, or if it wasn't live, I certainly saw the video of it. And so that was hugely inspiring. And so I've done it at the Met 35 or 40 times now, this production. But when there's somebody new, and our Musetta was new, Silvia Duramo, who's fantastic. That was her first time in it, and it's just such a joy to watch people enjoy doing it. And when the house was full, boy, there was some real magic in the room. And frankly, I hadn't really felt that in a bit. And so it was nice to re-energize that in a way. I can't help but to feel like the elder statesman in the show. Thank God for Donald Maxwell singing Benoit Nelchendoro, because otherwise I think I'd have too much gray hair on the stage. But it's this Colline character, it's one of the first arias I ever learned. I've been singing it since, or more being paid to sing Colline since about 2003. So 20 years of singing Colline and about 25 years of La Bohème, because the first thing I ever did in opera was Benoit Nelchendoro when I was in college. This music has been in my ears for a long, long time, and I don't travel with a score anymore. I've got at least acts 1, 2, and 4 memorized. I've never heard Act 3. I hear it's very good though. Bohème has been a constant in my life, and this character, I think I know him well. It's not that I don't like wonderfully relate to the man, but I think I understand who he is and what his job is in the show. It's fun to keep finding the little things, keep finding a new thing here and there. Yeah, it was a real fun night, and one that I'm sure Yannick is going to end up doing this about 100 times, as we all do. Everybody's got to go through BOHE, and really, the Zeffirelli BOHE is kind of like, when people come in, especially low voices, baritones and basses, you're going to pass through this production, generally. This is how they see if you can sing in this house. There's a lot happening. Act 2 just sort of happens to you. There's a lot of chaos, and so for you to cut through the chaos is kind of the trick. In a way, you can give a lot of young baritones shown art in this production, and just see how they do, and then you can graduate and you can move up. And a lot of guys do, and some guys don't. And it's a good little proving ground in a way, and that's I think that's important. Zeffirelli BOHE at the Met is a thing, and a real it's a privilege for me. And this afternoon, I'm going up to the Met Opera House to see the finals of the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions. I love this day. I love it. You watch some incredible talent. They're scared to death. They really are. You can smell fear. Even if they don't show it, you can smell it. I did this competition 20 years ago and stood on the stage and won. And I was not by any stretch, like the most polished singer there. I might have been the least polished, to be perfectly honest. But this competition works well because it's kind of based on promise. Who's going to be able to fill the house? They really want to know who can fill that house because it's not for kids. And we kind of throw kids in there just to see what they're going to be capable of. And when I talk to the young singers who compete today, and I'm sure I'll get to talk to a few of them. I make sure that they understand that it took 10 years for this bass baritone to come back as a guest following that competition. Some singers from that year didn't win and had contracts at the Met the next year. Some singers won and became young artists. Some singers won and disappeared. I won and then moved to Chicago almost immediately. I didn't go into the Met Young Artist program. I wasn't even asked. I did audition, but I didn't. That day I was not. I wasn't invited. For a myriad of reasons, and they're all, it all works out. But at the time it was fairly frustrating. But I did win that, and it was 10 years before I had my debut, and so this is 20 years now, the anniversary of winning that competition, and so. It'll be important for me today when I do talk to a few of them, and the guys always come see me, which is nice. This is not a finishing spot. This is not a victory lap. This is the new beginning. It really is, and it's hard to understand that at the time. Take that money and save it and invest it in yourself. Really, that's what I was determined. I paid a couple months' rent, but then that money went right into lessons and coachings and scores, and I think I got a new suit out of it. And it was time to take the windfall cash, which is what it is, and do something with it. Do something good. Invest in yourself. That's by far the best investment that I can give a young singer. Continue on, and for the people that don't win today, and for the people that were already sent home after the semifinals. The list of singers that didn't win this thing is far more impressive than the list of singers that did. I promise. Plenty of people don't. And it always depends on who you're coming up against. The 3 or 4 people that I won with, they pick 4 or 5 winners, and the ones that I won with are I don't sing with any of them. I've sung with one of them a couple times, but not in years, and the other 2 I've never sang with again. And so this is you need to look at it as a new starting point, a check. Take the check, invest in yourself, be grateful, keep going. Somebody has reminded you that you should keep going, and that's a good thing. And for the people that didn't get passed on, I hope you get all fired up. I hope you get real angry about it. That's how that's going to pay out. Get real angry about it. And for the people that get frustrated and decide they're going to do something else, that's okay too. I like it. I like clarity. I like things that make me go, right, it's this. Good or bad. I like the clarity. I love you for listening. Everybody. You know I do. Episode something. Everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll catch up next time. All right, thanks. Bye.